Hey everybody, welcome to Industry Headlines. My name's Fred Weaver, and as you can probably see, I'm not joined by anybody today. I get to do this show solo, so thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how lumber prices are affecting construction costs in new homes. Also talk a little bit about Rocket Mortgage. If you don't know, they are the largest mortgage originator in the country, and they had a pretty impressive earnings call last week. And we'll end talking about how agents are now actually running ads on popular streaming services such as Hulu and more. So got a good little industry headlines here for you today. So just caught this article here in the last week. The National Association of Home Builders came out and said that since April, right, post-COVID, if you will, kind of coming out here, lumber prices have skyrocketed more than 160%. I think we can agree that's a pretty big jump. It's adding about $16,000 to the cost of a new home, the National Association of Home Builders chief economist Robert Dietz said. So maybe you're seeing this out there, maybe you're not. Prices may be rising so fast in your market. Maybe that you're not necessarily hearing home builders talk about how it has to do with rising lumber prices. But the lumber industry lost 6,000 jobs as a result of the pandemic, and apparently has only gained about half of those back. So only about 3,000 people back to work. So what we're seeing is we're starting to get a lot of our lumber from Canada. Also in researching this, what I learned was that President Donald Trump enacted a 20% tariff on lumber coming from Canada when he started his presidency several years back. The thought process there was obviously keep jobs and keep revenue here in the States. But that's now obviously coming to a situation where a lot of the lumber is having to come in from Canada as our U.S. jobs have not come back, and it's starting to see an increase in prices. So let's kind of watch that. We'll see if that continues. If it gets worse, hopefully it gets a little bit better. Also in the news in the last week, Rocket Mortgage came out. Listen to this. This is crazy. Last year, a year ago in their second quarter, they posted a loss of $54 million in the second quarter of last year. And I believe that was on revenue. Let's see, Rocket turned to three. Oh yeah, that was on revenue of a couple $2 billion. So they had a loss of 54 million. This second quarter of 2020. Now, granted, there's a big refi boom going on out there. We understand that, right? But Rocket Mortgage, formerly Quicken, for those of you that know that, they posted a $3.5 billion profit on revenue north of $5 billion. They went from a loss of 54 million in the second quarter of 2019 to a profit of $3.5 billion on revenue of $5 billion in the second quarter of 2020. So crazy stuff there. They've also come out recently on their earnings call, and they've got a big ambitious goal. They want to capture 25% of the U.S. residential mortgage market by 2030. So they've got a little ways to go there. They already are the largest mortgage lender here in the country. So be kind of interesting to watch and see how their ride continues to go. Many of you know they went public recently, so that helped with some of their valuing. I think they're now valued at, I think I read it was more than General Electric's, maybe 60 billion. I'll have to go double check that, or one of you guys can. But anyway, they're now a publicly traded company. I myself bought a couple shares in the last few weeks. I'm not proposing you do it, and it's up to you. But anyway, we'll kind of watch and see where this ride goes. And lastly, here on Industry Headlines, the company by the name of Adwerx, which many of you know that name, they made a lot of advertising easier for us agents when it comes to online advertising, advertising in different media publications. They're now allowing you to actually stream your next listing or go ahead and run an ad about you and your team or you and your marketing on subscription services, streaming services such as Hulu, NBC, Fox, ABC, A&E, Discovery, and the Food Network. And I think there's more. So you might start to see some agents out there and teams that are pivoting to get their ads out there on streaming services like Hulu. I know I've become a Hulu user here in 2020 and am quite enjoying it. Adwerx was kind of the first ones to come out and go away from some of that zip code based advertising and to allow people to go a little bit wider online, and they're now continuing this with streaming services. So pretty cool. I'll be looking out, see if I see any of my real estate agent friends ads on maybe Hulu here in the coming months. Thanks so much for joining me for Industry Headlines. It's not nearly as fun when I can't make fun of Kevin Kauffman. He's not here with me today. But anyway, I hope you have a great week ahead, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next Tuesday.